It's the woman in blue. It's the host alongside Sri Lanka. We all understand, but it's the main host. It's Team India. We're going to discuss about for the Cricket World Cup 2025. And when we talk about India, it has to be someone who knows the women's cricket thoroughly, and no better person than Neha. Welcome to the show once again. It's your side. It's your team, women in blue. And first of all, let's kickstart looking into the squad for the women's side. And here it is: Harmanpreet Kaur, Smriti Mandhana, Pratika Rawal, Harleen Dior, Jemimah Rodrigues, Richa Ghosh, Uma Chetri, Renuka Singh Thakur, Deepti Sharma, Sneh Rana, Sri Charani, Radha Yadav, Amanjot Kaur, Arundhati Reddy, and Kranti Godh is more or less the squad, Neha. But few additions in the reserve side. We understand they will also be part of the squad some way or the other. Tejal Hasnab is there, Prerna Rawat is there, Priya Mishra. I'm really excited to see if she gets into the squad. Minnu Mani and Saili Sadghare. First of all, we understand it's reserves are just backups in case there comes a niggle or an injury. That's the moment they come into the side. But squad, I think overall the players speak themselves. Any surprises for you?
Hi, Preetham. Once again, really happy to be on the show, and thank you so much for that introduction. Obviously, it's Team India, right, who have assembled an amazing squad. No, two ways of looking at that, right? This is the home World Cup, and honestly, this is the best they could come up with. The fact that India was one of the first teams to, sort of announce the squad for the World Cup just speaks volumes. I mean, obviously, the distinction of being hosts, but also just announcing the squad and getting their game plan and strategy in play. And massive ups to the BCCI for announcing a very similar squad for the ongoing series versus Australia as well. So all in all, I'm just very happy with the way the squad is looking right now. I think through the coast fire discussion, we will talk about notable
True.
omissions too. But first impressions, yes, perfect squad.
First impressions, yes, it is good. But when we talk about Team India in Indian conditions, we expect it to have filled with all rounders. When you see so many spinning all rounders, does it make Harmanpreet Kaur's choice a little bit easier because she is playing her fifth World Cup, so she has the experience, isn't it?
Absolutely, Preetham. I think Harmanpreet Kaur is someone who just comes in with so much of experience, right? Having not just led India for a significant period of time, but also having been a part of this Indian team, burst onto the scene with just so much promise, and then to take up captaincy reins is just been massive. To delve a little into the aspect of just the spinners, right? I think because the World Cup is happening in subcontinent conditions, it did feel like a pertinent choice. Go in with the right set of spinners, and India has clearly done that. Beat the likes of Deepti Sharma, Sneh Rana, Sri Charni, Radha Yadav. It really is a very good spin quartet, and with your pace attack also looking as formidable, right? Yeah, absolutely no complaints in that regard, and just the team shaping up pretty well for sure.
While we discuss now at the moment, yeah, Team India is playing the second ODI in Australia, but the preparations are going really well out there. But your thoughts on the first ODI, which we saw where Australia hammered India, comfortable run chase. The platform was very much set by the top three. I think especially Mandhana and Pratika, the way they gave the start. In that middle phase, if you remember the 10 over period in the middle phase where Pratika and Harleen were batting, things slowed down. I don't know why, but things slowed down where I think that 300 320 should have been a minimum because you have so many wickets in hand. Wonderful start the three top three batters gave you. None of the middle order batters could capitalize, including the captain.
Yeah, Preetham, I think again, this whole entire series versus Australia has to be just treated as, like warm-up games. I don't think we should read too deeply into it. It's just, fine-tune combinations and figure out, which is the right sort of direction the team wants to head in. And I think even the team at large will just treat that first ODI loss as an aberration, right? It is obviously not indicative of how India has been performing in ODIs. When you just look at the performances for the past year or so, the match practice they're coming in with has been
Mhm.
phenomenal, and defeating England very recently on
True.
English soil, I think has just been phenomenal, right? So just probably this first ODI, we did see, glimpses of a few cracks coming here and there, but again, it was probably just one of those instances where when you lose those wickets, you just, tend to go into a shell, which has been, massive criticism of, Pratika and Harleen. Hopefully with time, we will see them sort of iron out those deficiencies. But the middle order, right, eventually
In
still
it, so
shaping
yeah.
up well.
So, but when you talk about Australia on the other hand, you need to give them respect because they are a world champion side. And in the second innings, I think a little bit of we understand India going with the squad, keeping in mind of the World Cup conditions in India. That's the reason why they played just one seamer in the name of Kranti God. Was that something that backfired India? Because the likes of Phoebe Litchfield, she was batting on a different planet. It looked like same goes for Bet Mooney doing Bet Mooney things. Australia have power pack batting unit. One more seamer is expected if they play again.
Yes, Preetham. Here's where I agree with you that probably, India's strategy of just going entirely spin heavy, trying to suffocate the opposition with spin, and just that one pacer was quite the gamble, right? Because it's important to understand that the pace arsenal also has the likes of, the returning Renuka Singh Thakur
Correct,
from injury.
correct.
You have someone like Arundhati Reddy as well. So, probably going with a two-pronged pace attack and three spinners would have probably helped India's prospects even better. But probably, again, this is just experimenting to see, how they can maximize the conditions, utilize their spin to the best of their capabilities, and just iron out and, make it sure, who can be that frontline spinner who will be accompanying someone like a Deepti Sharma. So it felt like an experiment in that sense. Probably not something India will, continue to do, hopefully, and we will see results coming in very soon.
We should see results coming in very soon, and that's where I said that fifth World Cup for skipper Harmanpreet Kaur, and she definitely has the experience. If you look into her numbers as a captain, as an ODI captain, yeah, 37 matches, 24 matches she has won, 12 matches she has lost. That's a very very good number if you look into in terms of percentage or winning percentage. But now talking about her, the captain, she's a little bit of aggressive nature, and can she keep that attacking flair in her in terms of a captaincy in such a big occasion, and also keeping in mind you will be having crowd in the stadium too.
I think someone like a Harmanpreet Kaur is a massive, big match player, right? She would obviously relish all the pressures that comes with, playing on home soil, and just the fact that this is going to be her first time, captaining India on home soil in an ODI
Home
World
soil,
Cup
yeah.
is obviously a big challenge, something she would, really want to take up with both hands. And the fact that she's led the team admirably over the past year or so, I think, yeah, India has no reason to be worried per se. And the fact that she comes in with so much confidence, playing
Correct.
in her fifth World Cup itself. So, yeah, I think, that aggressive brand will definitely bring out the best in a lot of these young players who sort of look up to her and just inspire another generation who wants to, take up the game as well. So, yeah, just very excited to see how she
You
fares.
said about big match player that there comes her deputy, because she carries both responsibility and expectation at the top of the order when she walks out to bat. Smriti Mandhana, will her role change by any time, or will she continue to be that anchor who looks for a triple figure every time she steps out to bat?
I mean, Smriti Mandhana obviously comes in with that sort of a burden, right? Every single time she steps out, I think with jersey number 18, we know the kind of pressure that comes, right? Be it the men's team or the women's team, you just want them to score those daddy hundreds. The case won't be different for Smriti too, right? I mean, such a gifted batter, again, burst onto the scene with, just so much talent and promise, and has managed to sustain it. I mean, I don't want to like jinx it by saying, that right now she is in her purple patch, scoring literally runs for fun and against some of the tougher oppositions, right? So she's obviously not just the vice captain, but the fulcrum of that batting department. A lot will hinge on how she sort of, lays the platform with Pratika for the rest of the batting to follow. So yeah, Smriti Mandhana, the batter, is going to be key to India's successes.
You said about Pratika Rawal alongside Smriti Mandhana. She has been brilliant since the time she's made a debut in the Indian side. But eyebrows did arise, and when India announced the squad, questions were like, where is Shefali Verma? Is the right choice made in terms of going with Pratika Rawal ahead of Shefali Verma, keeping in mind it's a longer format, 50 over World Cup?
Absolutely, Preetham. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Shefali Verma, again, absolute no disrespect to her, but then her form in ODIs was quite concerning. Her
Correct.
last score of 50 coming way back in 2022. India did give her a bunch of opportunities. It didn't really materialize. But Shefali Verma went back to the domestic circuit, worked really hard, and, had a wonderful WPL as well. But that's, again, not enough to merit your place in a team that's as competitive as India. You have other players who are standing up and delivering, right? Pratika Rawal exactly did that, coming off of a great run with Railways, in that senior women's one-day trophy. Just in her first six ODIs itself, having a run aggregate of 400 plus, she didn't do much wrong. Agreed, the England tour was a stern test, but on home soil, Pratika gives you
Yeah.
that sort of solidity and more freedom for, Smriti Mandhana to just go after the bowlers and be that aggressor sort of player. So I'm not entirely surprised that Shefali was omitted, but yeah, hopefully Pratika can make the most of her opportunities come the home World Cup.
Indeed. So, but when you talk about the side filled with all rounders, but I a little bit want to know from your end thoughts on why India backs so much in the name of Harleen Deol at number 3. Because I really think that she has the caliber, she has the talent, but her strike rate always surprises everyone, especially the Indian fans.
Fair enough, Preetham. That's actually a good observation about Harleen's strike rate. It has been a matter of debate in a lot of chat forums and just groups at large, right? But probably India continues to back Harleen because they see a lot of promise. They see a lot of potential in someone who can, be that sort of a stabilizing factor at that
Yeah.
number 3 position. For the longest time, we've just seen, a lot of back and forth, different players being slotted there. It's just not working out really well. But I think Harleen's performances in the recent past has given enough confidence to the think tank, to sort of entrust the responsibilities with her and just give that continued sustained support, because this is again a home World Cup where you want to back your players and probably
Yeah.
make tougher decisions as the time progresses. And the strike rate hopefully, will increase. At least that is the hope. And India wouldn't have to shuffle their batting order a lot, which might again, upset combinations and a bunch of other things. So yeah, hopefully Harleen can up her game in the near future.
Absolutely. Hopefully, she can up the ante. But if you look into the history of Team India in the 50 over World Cup, like you said, first time Harmanpreet Kaur will lead us side in a home World Cup in 50 over 1. Last two ODIs back in 2022, India finished in the group stages. In 2017, they came in runs up. So close yet so far. Your thoughts on this time around? Can the fortunes change just because it's in home conditions?
I mean, Preetham, the mind does go back to the 2013 Women's ODI World Cup that happened in India, where the hosts obviously had such a difficult, torrid run, ending up seventh. And that's probably where the next two World Cups really come into perspective, right? 2017 World Cup, India did emerge as runners up. And the 2022 World Cup, had a very middling World Cup and then just missing out by a whisker, to
Correct.
qualify for the knockouts. That loss versus South Africa was a
Oh.
tough pill to swallow, right? But the kind of emergence, resurgence that the Indian team has had since then, we've seen the retirements of massive figures, right, in the likes of Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami. But the fact that we've had so many players, sort of step up and raise their hand to take up responsibility and onus of the team has been quite refreshing and welcome. So this definitely looks like a new look Indian side who can potentially, change the destiny and future of women's cricket in India by probably just going for that win. And what better occasion, right, than a home World Cup like this?
Have, and you said about the big plus point having Renuka Singh Thakur, the swing queen, like we say for Team India, being banged into the side. We need to give her time, and that's where I come to the fixtures, because what is India's fixtures in this Cricket World Cup? Starting with an Asian side, Sri Lanka is your first match, never easy because they also play spin so well. Continuing with one more Asian side, then you go to South Africa, Australia, England. My goodness me, three big guns. New Zealand, and ending with another Asian side in the name of Bangladesh. So 7 matches, everyone has to play each other once. Your thoughts on that? Starting and ending with an Asian side, but the middle phase, South Africa, Australia, England, New Zealand, never easy. All should be a do or die.
Absolutely, Preetham. I think the fact that the World Cup format itself has moved from the Super Six stages and all of that,
Correct.
it's a proper level playing field now. Every team plays the other, and the fact that India is starting off with very interesting matches to their campaign, they can probably register those crucial wins and set the tone for the rest of their campaign, because you have stern tests against Australia, England, and New Zealand, coming back to back, which is again my mouth-watering encounters, no doubt about that. But I think India getting those wins early on will be extremely crucial, and just playing in front of home crowd in these different stadiums as well. Hopefully the spectators do their bit. They actually end up turning in huge numbers to kind of support the girls. But I think at last the mindset of the group will be just get those key wins, because these are teams that they've done well against, and hopefully come Australia, England, and New Zealand, they're able to continue that sustained momentum and sort of see where their campaign goes.
100%. We have to see where the campaign ends up at the end of the World League stages. Hopefully, they are comfortably qualifying for the playoffs, comfortably qualifying for the knockouts. I should rather say that. But thoughts on the players to watch out for, Neha? Here are my 3 picks. Let's take a look into that. I've gone for Smriti Mandhana, Deepti Sharma, and as X fact in the name of Sri Charani is my third player to watch out for. How many changes for you?
Honestly, Preetham, this is a perfect lineup, right? This trio has been doing well for India, not just in the past year or so, but then they've been doing well for India for quite a long period of time. Sri Charni too, right? Recently making her debut. Again, comes in with that sort of exactly. Again, comes in with that experience, having done well in domestics and age group cricket, and then being able to translate that performance from WPL to international stage has been like just spectacular. I would be tempted here to add like a couple of names, probably someone like a Jemimah Rodrigues as well. Right now, she's become a lifeline for India at that number 5 position. Usually is thrust into very difficult situations, but with some very innovative shots, is able to still get those runs on board, which makes
can she have a breakthrough World Cup this time around?
Fingers crossed, Preetham. I think that will be the hope, because she's often spoken about the disappointment of missing out on that 2022
Always,
World Cup. So for her, this definitely has to be a redemption arc, right? Being a part of this squad. So for me, I think I definitely add her to the players to watch out for this. And even someone like a Richa Ghosh, right, coming in as a finisher in that batting lineup, I think she's going to be very important, because if most of the times we're going to see the conditions sort of deteriorate, we need her to come up with cameos and crucial knocks to ensure India gets past that threshold of 300 runs. Correct. And makes it a very competitive total, right? So hopefully the batting unit will step up, and the bowling unit will do the honors of a win.
And the surface is expected to get slower as the tournament progresses. So what about Richa Ghosh, the wicket keeper?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think she's going to be an asset, right? Initially, like she was, not initially, right now she's just the only wicket keeper in the squad. You have someone like an Uma Chetri, but that's again, if there's like an injury or something else that comes in. Richa Ghosh again has
no Indian fan would want that.
Exactly. And the way she's just evolved, right, from with her wicket-keeping skill, she's just gotten so much better with time. Just hoping she can carry on that sustained momentum and ensure, a lot of stumpings and dismissals are in India's favor.
Absolutely. But when I picked up my 3 players, in terms of Deepti Sharma, is she the backbone of the side, or are you going back to captain or vice captain?
She is the backbone of the side, Preetham. I think the fact that she's such an amazing all-rounder, right? In fact, in the 2022 World Cup itself, she was used at that number three position.
Correct.
Earlier in her career, she was batting much higher in that order too, right? Deepti Sharma has just, aged like fine wine, making her debut so early. She's pretty much that bone, which connects the batting and the bowling side of things, can really anchor the innings, can go all guns blazing when needed, can bowl you those crucial overs in the middle, just sort of get you those, because she's a value add in any team. It just absolutely goes without saying. Probably even the X factor that India has wanted for the longest period of time, but have her consistently sort of deliver. It's a home World Cup. She will obviously be raring to go and ensure that India wins, having been a part of the heartbreaks in 2017
Exactly,
and
exactly.
2022. So yeah, third time's the charm, hopefully.
And she will definitely want to take a revenge because of what happened in 2022 because of her. I am sure that she would like to change things around. But talking about the predicted playing 11, Neha, it's time to take a look into that. Smriti Mandhana, Pratika Rawal are my openers. Harleen Deol at number 3, Harmanpreet Kaur at number 4, Jemimah Rodrigues at 5, Richa Ghosh at 6, Deepti Sharma at number 7. These players, I think they picked themselves. Now come my changes. Amanjot Kaur at number 8, Sneh Rana at number 9, Sri Charani at number 10, Renuka Singh Thakur at number 11. Two seamers filled with spinners. How many changes?
None, Preetham. I literally want to just control X, control V, because that's exactly the kind of playing 11 that I
Wow.
had in mind. Because the moment Renuka Singh Thakur and Amanjot are there, they are going to be my pace spearheads. There's no two ways about that. And with the spin department that has Sneh Rana, Sri Charni, and Deepti Sharma, looks formidable, right? You have easy five bowling options there. And the top six, again, literally just picks itself. There's no concerns
So,
whatsoever.
so, so
Hopefully, India, yeah.
will you think of a sixth bowler?
Ideally, would have liked someone from the top six to chip in with a few overs. That's probably where Harmanpreet Kaur, the bowler, can come into action. Pratika can
Even
bowl a
Pratika
little.
Rawal, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, can hopefully bowl a little, or even Jemimah, right, in the domestic side of things, does bowl a little. But that's only like a worst case scenario if India really needs that sort of impetus. But right now, considering the lack of options in that top six, we're going to have to deal with the cards we're dealt with.
Any opportunity just because the likes of Kranti Groth is leading the pace attack at the moment? Can she come in place of Amanjot Kaur or Narundari Reddy or maybe a Radha Yadav for either of Sneh Rana or a Sri Charani?
I think, Preetham, that's again very conditions specific, right? Because India will look to play Renuka and Amanjot in all of those matches because you need two pacers, right? The spin heavy strategy won't always yield you the kind of desired results. So at least a three pronged spin attack with your two pacers should, I think, pretty much help the cause. But say India were to do like a three pace attack and two spinners, very
Yeah,
unlikely
I
considering the
think it's very
conditions. Yeah, it
unlikely.
will
Yeah.
not happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you look into the side, if you have Radha Yadav also there, or maybe a Sri Charani, you still have batting till number 9 at least. That is very, very good batting depth as well. Final question, Neha, which is where I put you in the hot seat. Your 4 teams that are making to the semis?
I mean, my four teams have to be Australia, England, India, and New Zealand. I mean, these are going to be my picks. I did give it a fair bit of thought as well. I mean, Australia, right, in the current ongoing ODI series itself, they've been doing so well.
Oh, no doubt.
England again too, right? You'd never write them off. I mean, under Charlotte Edwards and Nat Silverbrunt, you'd kind of expect them to do well. India being hosts and just the kind of performances they've been putting in, you wouldn't really want to write them off too. And my fourth team was again sort of match up between say someone like a South Africa or
Oh,
a New
yes.
Zealand. But New Zealand clearly, are riding that wave, right? They are your women's T20 World Cup champions, and yeah, they would probably want to, pull off something incredibly special, like England did in 2009, winning the ODI World Cup and the T20 World Cup back to back. So I think New Zealand definitely has that in their stride. But my dark horses definitely would be South Africa and Sri Lanka too. If they just are able to
I
sneak in
was
from
about to
somewhere.
come there. How can
Yeah.
you miss out on somebody like a Sri Lanka? Because I haven't seen anybody else. Because it's just you being the third person, and all of them have said within the among these 5 teams itself. And but my thoughts is South Africa on the other hand, but Sri Lanka, they know these conditions well. What went through your mind when you said about no to Sri Lanka? Is it the middle order batting department?
For me, Sri Lanka again come in as dark horses. Preetham. Agreed, they're playing a lot of their matches on home conditions. They will obviously maximize and leverage those conditions. But when you look at Sri Lanka, they're heavily dependent on someone like a Chamari Attappattu to stand
Oh,
up and
yes.
deliver every single time. The pace attack looks slightly weakened, and when you look at the spinners too, I think that's something that would really take them a long way in the tournament because a lot of the teams are going to struggle to play spin in that regard. But that middle order looks slightly wobbly for Sri Lanka. So I think these are some of the areas they would be very self-aware and yeah, just probably keep cognizance of that. That's why I didn't, immediately think of Sri Lanka as my, top four to qualify, but they can definitely be a team that can challenge any opposition on a day, right? Sri Lanka has had the distinction of defeating an England in 2013 World Cup. They've defeated a lot of other top flight teams as well. So it will be quite an interesting clash, when teams do square off against them.
All right. Thank you so much, Neha. So you have given your 4 teams. That is very much the teams that are expected to be said. Thank you so much, Neha. It's been India that we have discussed around, thoroughly discussed about the entire team and such a wonderful side, the host nation as well. That's all we have for now. We are building India's smartest cricket community. Subscribe to become a part of it.